everyone, it's Julianne here and welcome back to my channel. I am super excited to be sharing with you all some brand new goodies that just released from Scrappy Tail Crafts today. Now I used some of my favorite dies from the brand new March 2021 release in order to create these two Slimline cards. Now I'm going to be showing you the new products that I used on both of my cards today, starting with the brand new 3 gorgeous butterfly die sets. The first one that I'm showing you here is the Sitting Butterflies die set. This next one is the Flying Butterflies die set. So pretty. And then finally is the Flying Butterflies 1 die set. So I'm going to take this die out of its package here in order to bring those a little bit closer to the camera. So that way you can really see all of that beautiful detail that each one of these die cuts have. Now each die set does come with 2 butterflies, and each one of the butterflies included has an outline die as well as the detail die. They are all just so beautiful and I had so much fun creating with them today. Now next I'm going to be showing you the brand new Slimline Woodgrain background die. And again, I'm going to be bringing that closer to the camera in order to show you all of that great detail that you're going to be getting once you run that die through your die cutting machine. So I'm just going to set those all off to the side, and I'm going to start out both of my cards for today by first creating some alcohol ink backgrounds. Now I have super set this up since you can really do any colors that you want when you recreate these cards. Now I will have the colors that I use down at the bottom of the screen in case you want to give them a try. But when it comes to alcohol inks, I definitely do not think that there is a wrong way to use them. As I mentioned in previous videos, I just like to pick a few of my favorite colors and I like to just start adding them directly onto my Yupo paper. I like to add a few drops of each color as well as some of that alcohol blending solution in order to get my colors moving, and then I just really let the colors do their thing. Once I have each one of my panels done, I like to just set them off to the side to completely dry before moving on and doing any die cutting. So again, when it comes to alcohol inks, there's only one rule: have fun. Once each of my alcohol panels were dry, I'm now going to start working out how many butterflies I can fit on each one of my Slimline cards. Now I thought originally I could only fit 3 of them, 1 of each color, but once I started die cutting, I completely changed my mind. I decided that I wanted to do 4 butterflies on each card. The first card is going to have the pink and blue butterflies, and then my second card is just going to have the orange butterflies. Now I'm also going to be using that Slimline Woodgrain die cut, and I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine using some Desert Storm cardstock. I'm then going to be placing all of those butterfly die cuts off to the side, and you can see those up in that top right hand corner. And I'm going to start working on creating my backgrounds. I love all of the detail from that wood grain die. Now I left all of the pieces as one using some washi tape on the back, but you can definitely remove them. I definitely think that's how it was originally intended for. I think it would also be so super cute in order to remove those areas in the center there and add like a critter peeking out from behind. I think that would be super cute. But for my card today, I did leave it just as one piece, and I'm going to be doing some ink blending using my Distress inks. I'm going to be using Vintage Photo, and I'm going to be ink blending the edges using some of my blender brushes. In order to darken some of those areas, I'm also going to be coming in with some gathered twigs. And once I'm happy with how both of my panels look, I'm then going to be pulling out my splat box, and I'm going to be adding some of that Vintage Photo Distress ink directly to my work surface, and I'll add in some water as well. And then taking a paintbrush, I'm going to completely splatter both of my backgrounds throughout. Now with my backgrounds off to the side drying, I'm now going to start working on assembling the butterflies together. Now to do that, I'm going to be adding some liquid adhesive just to the center area of those detailed die cuts. And then I'll be taking those and lining them up with the corresponding outline die. And I'll just be adhering down that center area where I added that adhesive. And once I have that all adhered, I'll then just be fluffing up the wings a little bit. And there they are. You can see just how beautiful these butterflies are once they're assembled together. I love them so much. There are so many possibilities with these. Now I'm going to continue to do that with each butterfly. And again, I'm just adding my adhesive just in that center area, kind of like their bodies. And then that way the wings aren't adhered down. So it's going to be like they are popped up on my card. And that's going to give my card some really nice dimension. I did use the detailed die cuts when I ran those through my die cutting machine with some of that black glitter cardstock that you see. I love the way that the colors from those alcohol inks just pop through those little cut out detail areas. I think, again, there are just so many possibilities with these dies. You could do a bunch of different butterflies in all different colors. You could do rainbow. You could do like I'm doing here, which is all one color with the orange. There's just really a lot of possibilities. I love these dies and I was so excited to play with them. I'd love to know which one you like the best. I think I am a fan of that huge flying butterfly. I think that's definitely my favorite die cut out of all of these. But again, they are all so pretty. Now off camera, I went ahead and adhered down each one of my orange butterflies to my first Slimline card base. And you can see here just how much dimension I get from those wings not being adhered down. Now these cards will be super easy to mail in case you're wondering. Yes, the wings might get a little flat while they're in the envelope, but all the recipient has to do is fluff them back up once they take the card out of the envelope. Now I'm going to be adhering the other butterflies down to my second card, and I'm going to be doing that using some more liquid adhesive. I'm going to be adding that adhesive all over the back of those outline die cuts, and then I'll be adhering those down directly down to my background panel. But again, I'm not adding any adhesive to the back of those black die cuts, so that way I can get all of that beautiful dimension. So once I get that last butterfly all adhered, I'll then fluff up the wings a little bit more, and then I'm going to bring that up to the camera so you can see just how pretty these are. I'm then going to be adding some more liquid adhesive behind my entire background panel, and I'm going to be adhering that down to my Slimline card base. And I did trim and score that out of some more of that Desert Storm cardstock. Once I have that all adhered, I'm then going to be pulling out my Misty so that way I can stamp out my sentiments. Now I definitely should have done this before I adhered everything together, but that's okay. I'm just going to line my card up inside of my Misty, and I'm going to decide where I want my sentiment to be. Since I want to emboss my sentiments, I'm going to be then taking my anti-static powder tool, and I'll just be adding that where I want my sentiment to be. And then I'll be stamping my sentiment out using some Versamark ink. Now I will stamp this a few times just to make sure I get a nice solid outline since my background has all of those die cut lines. Once I have stamped that a few times, I'll then take my card out of my Misty and I'm going to be applying some Gina K Fine White Embossing Powder over my entire sentiment. And then I can just tap off any excess powder that there might be. I'll then set my first card off to the side. And I'll place my second card inside of my Misty in order to stamp out the sentiment for this one as well. Now for the first card, I stamped the sentiment Get Well, since I did plan on sending this to a friend, which hopefully by now they have already received in their mailbox. For my second card, I'm just going to be stamping out the sentiment Thinking of You. That way I can use this card for really anything when I need it. Again, I'm going to be stamping my sentiment just the same as I did on my first card. And once I get my embossing powder added to that sentiment, I'm then going to be embossing both of my sentiments using my heat tool. Now, as I was doing my stamping, I did have my heat gun off to the side heating up. So that way when I was ready for it, it would be good and hot once I brought it to my card. Now, before I put my Misty away, I'm going to actually remember to stamp a sentiment on the inside of my Get Well card. I always seem to forget this step. I'm going to be placing my card back inside of my Misty, and I am going to be placing that upside down, so that way my butterflies are just hanging on the outside of the Misty. And once I have my sentiment all lined up, I'll then stamp that down using some Memento Tuxedo black ink. Now I have left the second card blank inside, but whenever I decide to send that out, I can just add a sentiment then. Now, in order to finish off both of my cards for today, I'm going to be scattering a bunch of silver confetti mix sequins throughout both of my backgrounds, and I'll be adhering each of those down with some liquid adhesive using my gem picker. Once I have each one of those sequins adhered, that's going to complete both of my Slimline butterfly cards using some of the brand new dies from the March 2021 Scrappy Tail Crafts release. I hope that you all have enjoyed both of my cards today and that I have given you some inspiration and some ideas on what you can do if you decide to get these dies. Now, if you did enjoy this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my channel for even more card making ideas. Now, I will have a list of all of the supplies I used in this video down in the description box, as well as a link to the full release, so you can go check that out. If you would like to see me work with a particular item, please leave me a comment down below. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful day. I will see you next time, and happy crafting!